Aiden rested his forehead against the window, his small frame heavy with feelings far too old for a 9-year-old. Rejection had already carved its place in his heart. His father rarely acknowledged him, and when he did, the look in his eyes was colder than the battles outside their home. Aiden discovered early that no matter how perfect his grades, no matter how quickly he obeyed, no matter how hard he tried, his father's affection remained locked away. Quietly, without words, he made himself a promise. If I can just be good enough, maybe one day he'll see me. Maybe one day he'll love me. That silent vow followed him into classrooms, cafeterias, and playgrounds. He laughed at jokes that weren't funny. He handed out pieces of his lunch. He finished other kids' homework, all for the chance to hear a thanks or feel a pat on the back. For a fleeting moment, those scraps of approval gave him warmth, the warmth he imagined he might have felt if his father had ever said, "I'm proud of you." But here's the heartbreak. Children who grow up begging for love at home often carry that hunger into the world, where it can make them easy targets. Other kids noticed Aiden's eagerness, his desperate need to belong, and twisted it into cruelty. They mocked him, excluded him, and sometimes dangled acceptance only to snatch it away again. Why does this happen? Psychology gives us clues. A child who feels invisible at home often develops what experts call a fawn response. It's a survival instinct. If I can keep others happy, maybe I'll stay safe. So Aiden didn't rebel, he didn't fight back. He smiled when he wanted to cry. He apologized when he wasn't at fault. He said yes when every part of him screamed no. His hope was simple. If he made himself small enough, agreeable enough, maybe the world would stop hurting him. But desperation rarely earns respect. His kindness wasn't seen as kindness, but as weakness, and the bullying sharpened. Each insult, each shove, each laugh at his expense confirmed the belief already growing inside him. Maybe I am the problem. Maybe I'm unworthy. This is how cycles deepen. Neglect at home plants the seed. Cruelty at school waters it until it grows into a forest of self-doubt. Children don't think, "My father has his own wounds." They think, "If he doesn't love me, it must mean I'm unlovable." That belief becomes the lens for every friendship, every relationship, every interaction. For Aiden, the classroom became a stage where he performed endlessly for applause. And when the applause didn't come, he blamed himself. Psychologists call this externalized self-worth. It means your value depends not on who you are, but on how others react to you. For Aiden, if people liked him, he felt alive. If they ignored him, he felt invisible. If they mocked him, he assumed he deserved it. This fragile dependence often follows children into adulthood. It explains why bullied kids sometimes grow into anxious adults stuck in toxic patterns. They don't lack strength. Their brains simply learn survival by appeasement. Over time, repeated rejection can even create learned helplessness. The belief that no matter what you do, the outcome won't change. And so instead of resisting, they fold. Instead of saying no, they always say yes. The boy who once gave away his lunch became the man who gave away his time, his energy, his very identity, just for the smallest sign of approval. At work, he never complained. In friendships, he was always the reliable one. In love, he confused conditional affection with real devotion. On the surface, he seemed agreeable, but inside he felt hollow. Because no amount of applause could erase the silence of a father who never said, "You're enough." And yet, healing is possible. It begins with the terrifying act of turning inward. For someone like Aiden, silence always felt dangerous. It echoed with rejection. But slowly he dared to ask himself, what do I want apart from what others expect of me? At first the answer was blurry. But with time, he realized he enjoyed painting even if nobody praised him. He enjoyed night walks even alone. And he discovered that saying no didn't make him unlovable. It simply made him human. True love, he learned, isn't earned through perfection. It isn't conditional on performance. Real love accepts you in your imperfect wholeness. And until Aiden believed that, he remained trapped in cycles of pleasing and pain. The scars didn't vanish, but they transformed. His past gave him deep empathy, the ability to sense pain in others. That empathy became a gift so long as it was balanced with self-respect. Because empathy without boundaries is self-destruction, but empathy with boundaries becomes wisdom. One day, standing in front of a mirror, Aiden saw not only the man he had become, but also the boy who once begged for love. He whispered to that child, "You were always enough. It was never your fault." For the first time, he felt peace, not applause, not approval, but peace. And maybe that's the lesson. The bullied child believes survival comes from pleasing. The healed adult learns joy comes from being real. Between the two lies a journey of courage, of breaking patterns, of reclaiming the right to exist without apology. Because the truth is simple: you are always worthy, and you always will be.